Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, my beautiful, beautiful insurance professionals. This is Faye, and I sell Medicare plans. This is the podcast where everyone who actually sells and actually offers Medicare products comes to find out what they should do, how they should do it, what's happening in the Medicare space. And today, my guest is the beautiful Inesta Bellardo, who is with BNA Benefit Solutions, and she's in the cold weather. I'm in the warm weather, as you know, but she's in Connecticut, my former home state. And I would just like to welcome you, Inesta. I'm so happy to see you.
Good morning, Mrs. Faye. What an honor and a pleasure to be here with you coming from Connecticut. As you can see, there's a stark difference between what I'm wearing and what you're wearing, right? I got the I got the turtleneck on and you're over there with the nice blazer becoming of the sun that's going to be coming out on you shortly. So thank you for having me.
The sun, yes, the sun is out here in sunny Florida. And I looked out the window this morning. I said, oh, what a beautiful God's world it is. So no matter where we are, we're in God's beautiful country. So,
Amen. Yes.
Anesta, I think I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly where we met, but I've met you and I've even had the opportunity to meet you in person when I visited Connecticut. That was a treat for me. But I learned after meeting you that you are a woman of many, many talents. And I
Yes, Mrs.
wanted
Faye.
to bring you on the podcast because I think there are other people in this Medicare space who don't realize what can be done and how it can be done. So, where did you actually start?
Ooh, way back when. So I started originally my book of business with just the PNC side. I was always life and health licensed. That's something that I've always had. But I started with the PNC side because I really liked that part of the business. I still do enjoy that part of the business. And I really love the personal lines and things like that. So when I started my book of business, I had but one product. I was an AFLAC representative for a very long time. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And here we are.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So, at least this helps our audience to know that you can start with one product, you can
Mhm.
start with one company, and build that into something that's much bigger or greater. So now you are utilizing that life and health license as well, right?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. 100%. We're using that now here at the agency much more. And it's been very good for us. It's well rounded off our book of business. And we love this Medicare space. It's been good. Yes.
Oh, okay. So now, when did you decide that you were going to just jump in and use Medicare? And if I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you had the life and health license, you knew that you could sell Medicare supplements,
Yeah.
but you had to move into and become certified to do the Medicare Advantage plans and the prescription drug plans. When did you just start with Medicare supplements, and then was it like a sudden decision to do all of Medicare? How did that evolve?
So really, Miss Faye, it's an interesting story because I started off as doing affordable health care for the state of Connecticut when affordable health care just became a thing, formerly known as Obamacare. And I have been an affordable health care agent broker for many years. From the first implementation, I was one of the first brokers that signed up to do that service. And it was just a need. I really loved working in the community. I really loved being able to engage with the products and the services. And really, the push for getting me into the Medicare space really came from my customers. And so, what I was finding is that people were aging in. My customers were aging in, coming off of their affordable health care, and I really didn't have really any close knit relationships within the community of which to transfer my customers over to in a warm way. And so ironically, I had taken the AHIP at least 3 years before this year. And I had been taking AHIP and I knew what it was to be in the Medicare space and I knew all that it took. But I think I was overthinking a lot of things. I was more nervous than I actually needed to be. And only because I didn't really have any strong relationships with other agents, I didn't have a mentor. I was more nervous in doing the wrong thing for my customers. And so that has always been our agency standpoint, that we always do the right thing for our customers, even if that means we don't win their business immediately. So what I would do is, even though I was licensed, I would, try to, kind of send them away and tell them, you have to go find another agent. I don't do the Medicare, even though I was licensed. And within the last year and a half, 2 years, I really just had the aha moment and really started, teaching myself a little bit more, getting involved with different organizations and different mentoring programs, like one of your mentoring programs that you were so eloquently rolled out, along with some of the other programs that I enrolled myself in. And just it just became a snowball effect. And I would say within the last two open enrollments for AEP is where I've been able to kind of start learning a little bit more. And it's been good. I will say it's been fantastic. And I love working with the seniors. So I guess that's another thing that keeps me going.
That's one of the things that I hear from every Medicare insurance professional. Once you start to work with the seniors, you really can appreciate what you're doing because they appreciate what you're doing. They really do like it when you're able to help them and guide them. They are accustomed to people actually being knowledgeable and also being able to service them. Some of them, will require more hand holding than others, but most of them will just really, really like the fact that we are able to actually talk to them and answer their questions. So, actually, AEP 2022 was that your second or your first real year in Medicare sales?
So last year was my first real year. I had a small increase in business coming from that time frame, but I would say this year has been tremendous to me. And I would say it has not really happened really during the AEP. Some agents report in that they have 50 or 60 different new customers or whatever it is because they're more familiar with the Medicare and they just have been out there a little bit longer. What I can say is based on looking at what my agency has done, we've doubled what we did from last year into this year. And for me, that's a win, right? And then what I'm looking at now is the exponential growth, even after we come off of the AEP, because what has happened is that my community has said, Inessa, we want you to come out and talk about, doing the Medicare and really just getting comfortable with the Medicare 101. That's really, really, really been my focus because we know that there are so many different guidelines when it comes to the regulations and things like that has happened, from last year into this year. And so trying to figure out how to navigate was also something that I was very, very nervous about, right? So not only was I nervous about just, coming from the affordable healthcare space, but a little bit more nervous as all these different structures came into place about what you could do and what you couldn't do. And I think we're all getting used to that space. But being able to be in the community and teaching the Medicare 101 has really been the prize for me. Being able to speak in front of the audience and have them engage with me. Recently, I was invited to a local church here in Connecticut, Grace Baptist Church in Waterbury, Connecticut,
I know
where
that church.
yeah, so I was so blessed to have an audience of over 50 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Seniors, some people aging in, some people already aged in, and just being able to have them throw questions at me, and I don't know if they know, but they were really helping me. um, and it was good because it showed me what I already had in me, what I already knew. What was brought to the surface was I knew more than I even could acknowledge myself that I knew, about the Medicare. And then just being able to see their faces and to have them give me feedback. I've been getting feedback all week. Inesta, thank you for coming, and just the presentation itself. And so it's really been a good space for me, and I look forward to doing more of it. And I love working with the seniors. I mean, they just offer me so much, and so I think that's another great reward outside of just the financial reward.
Mm-hmm. So, Inesta, being an agency owner and starting with PNC, there are a couple of points that you definitely bring out that can help other Medicare agents. One is you may feel like you don't know everything, and we don't, none of us are perfect, so we may not know every answer, but it is just important that you know where to go to find the answer. And I know that you're a member of Club Win, which probably, you ask questions in the community in Club Win, so you get some of your answers there. Also, you mentioned that the Medicare Education 101s didn't probably produce the way you thought they would during AEP. However, it's been that fallout that is continuing. So your first quarter, your OEP is going to be better probably than your AEP. And this is
Absolutely.
what it takes. And you just keep rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So next year at this time, you'll have all of that in place. You'll know how it works. You'll know what worked, what didn't work, what to do during which enrollment period that will get your customers on the books. But let me just ask you, you mentioned Waterbury. Where is that where you do most of your business?
So I do my business all over the tri-state area here in Connecticut. Waterbury is our home. It's where my office physically is. However, we do business all over the state of Connecticut. And we're also licensed in multiple states as well. So as we grow the agency, being able to do Medicare in various states is something that I'm looking forward to doing. That's a part of the aspiration for the agency. But yeah, we are proud to say that we're born and raised in Waterbury, Connecticut. And so that is our home. That is our home for where our office is. Yes.
Okay, that's great. So it's not probably a bad idea to start at home because
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're most familiar with. It will make that comfort level and that moving outside of what you're accustomed to doing a little easier because you're among people and you're within the community that you're familiar with. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care of your backyard first is what I would tell people. Don't be afraid to tell people, what you do, and just go ahead and go out there and get it done. Yes.
Okay, are there any tips that one or two that you might want to share to leave with our audience today?
Absolutely. The first thing that I would say is if you're working in the Medicare space, you start with your warm market. Start with your friends and your family. They should know what you do, right? So start with them. Make sure that it's, you say that loud and proud every opportunity that you get. The second thing that has really, really helped me is, practice makes perfect. You said rinse and repeat. So what I would do with the Medicare 101 presentation that I have made up is just practice at home. Practice to yourself, and then do a lot of research on your own. Use that Medicare.gov space to go on there and find answers. And then last but not least, find an agency partner, find a mentor that is not afraid to take a few moments with you to go over, the dying questions that you might have, and really, really, really make sure that you know your products, know who your market people are so that you can get the resources that you need. And last but not least, stay consistent in whatever you do, right? This is we're in a people business, and consistency is key. You don't want to start off today where your community can see you and then they don't see you for a little while. And so that consistency is really going to be fruitful for you. So a few golden nuggets that I have found myself and I've taken away from gurus like yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I would agree with every point that you've given. They're all great points, and those are the ones that it will get everyone, each of us, to where we need to be in our goals. And of course, anyone who's listening or anyone who watches the episode on YouTube or listen to the podcast, if you need more information, if you feel you need some help, there are several sources that are available to you. One of them, of course, is to book a 30-minute complimentary. I use the word complimentary because free gives you some other different ideas, but it doesn't cost anything to book a 30-minute discovery call with me. And you can do that by going to calendly.com/F Horton. You will have some action steps to take after that. And of course, if you want to get really into depth, you can do one-on-ones or you can join our I Sell Medicare Plans community, which is a group effort. So Win for women only is also available as an outlet for resources and training weekly. Thank you so much, Inesta, for being here with your beautiful face. You're so great. Listen, God's grace is shining upon you. I can see your emblem in the back, and I just love what you're doing. But I am proud and even more excited about from where you've come to where you are now. But
Thank you so much,
you're
Mrs. Faye.
going to go much, much farther. Thank you for being with us, and have a blessed and glorious rest of this quarter and rest of 2023. Thank you.
Thank you.